travel. It's going to go faster through solids and liquids, and it's going to go slower through a gas. It's just the nature of sound waves. So the one thing I want to clarify, though, and this is really important, is that sound speed and sound frequency are really different things. When we're talking about frequency, guys, it's how many waves I have in this time, right? And you can see there's more waves here than there are here, okay? It's how many waves. When I'm talking about speed, I'm talking about how fast those waves are moving. It's a different thing. So really just make sure that you get those clear. I put them together just to make it easier on this slide, but remember that sound wave frequency is how many waves we have, and then sound wave speed is obviously just speed. And then the reason that they're different, this is a really cool example if you think about it, is that let's say I'm singing with somebody, and let's say I have a really high-pitched voice. I'm like, ee, or something like that. And the person I'm singing with, they have a really low-pitched voice. They're like, moo, or something low, okay? What's cool about that is that even though we have different frequencies, guys, you hear us at the same time, right? When you're listening to us singing, it's not like you hear me first because I'm higher pitch. You hear us at the same time. That's what makes it a song. So that's how we know that sound wave frequency and speed aren't the same, because we're at different frequencies, but it's coming to your ears at the same speed. So they are different things, okay? But just something to think about. The other thing is sound wave amplitude. So basically amplitude is how big vertically those sound waves are. So vertically, you guys can think hamburger style. It's basically how big vertically the sound waves are. So it's like the height of the sound wave. So when we're talking about high amplitude, guys, we're talking about really tall sound waves. When we're talking about low amplitude, we're talking about short waves. And essentially what amplitude does is amplitude tells us how loud our sound is going to be. It's going to kind of define if we're going to have a loud sound or a quiet sound. So you have waves that are really tall, they're going to have a loud sound. And if you have waves that are really short, it's going to have a quiet sound. So it's kind of cool to think about that. So this is a question that I feel like people are always kind of wondering about. And they're like, okay, let's say I'm standing somewhere and, an ambulance is coming towards me. And as it comes towards you guys, it's going to get louder, right? The siren's going to be dee-doo, dee-doo. It's going to get really loud as it's getting towards you. So why are some noises louder as they get closer to us? And it all comes down to this. Sound travels in waves, and all those waves have to come from some source of the vibration. Remember, a sound wave is just a vibration. So something has to be producing that vibration. So that vibration might be produced by me if I'm playing I play French horn. If I'm playing my French horn and it's causing a vibration of the air molecules, I'm causing the vibration. It might be this, car with the siren on, it's causing a vibration, okay? Of the air molecules, that's why we're hearing that sound, the siren. So basically sound, it comes down to this vibration. And basically what we call noises as they start getting closer to us, it's because of something called the Doppler effect. And essentially what the Doppler effect is that sound waves, guys, remember our sound waves, our vibrations, are going to have a higher frequency. There's more wavelengths. It's going to be really tons of wavelengths. Have a higher frequency when we get closer to what's making the vibrations. Okay? So think about this. When we get closer to an ambulance, like this picture here, this guy's getting closer to the ambulance. The sound waves have a higher frequency. You see that there's more waves in that little amount of time. There's more waves. And in turn, we think that means louder. It's actually just going to be a higher frequency. It's going to be higher pitch. And we think of that as louder, but it's really not. It's just that noises get louder, or really they get more higher pitched as we get closer to the source of the vibration. So this guy over here, right, he's far away from the source of the vibration. The source of the vibration is this siren that's going off. It's causing the air molecules to vibrate. He's farther away, so guess what? It's not going to be as high pitched for him. It's going to be lower pitched, and he's going to think it's actually softer, but really it's lower pitched. So it has to do with pitch, and that's the thing, is that noises aren't getting louder, they're just changing pitch as they get closer to us or farther away from us. So it's changing the frequency of waves. So that's called the Doppler effect. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of complicated, but it's cool to think about that really it's all about changing wave frequency. And as we get closer to what's making vibrations, we're going to have higher frequency. So here are just some fun facts about sound that I think are really cool that I wanted to include. So the first is, if any of you guys have been to the Air and Water Show, okay, I know it's really popular, you maybe have seen a supersonic aircraft, okay, and a supersonic aircraft is something like a fighter jet. It's used usually in the military, but basically it is an aircraft that goes faster than the speed of sound. Let's think about that. Whoa. it's going faster than the speed of sound. So what that means is you are going to see it before you hear it, because its actual speed is faster than the speed of sound. So it's passing through the sound barrier. So you're going to see it before you hear sound because it's going at a faster speed than sound is coming at you. It's kind of cool. That only applies, guys, commercial jets, they don't really have that. That's why when you see a plane, you also hear it. They happen at the same time. But with supersonic aircrafts like a fighter jet, you are going to see it before you hear it. And it's actually, it's pretty weird to think about that. Another thing is dogs hear better than humans. I know we were like, what? And you probably heard that before, but dogs actually do hear better than humans. And the reason is they can process higher frequencies, that means more sound waves, better. They're just able to process it better than our ears can. So we can also pick up on frequencies, guys. You guys hear high-pitched voices and low-pitched voices. You're hearing that because you guys can recognize different frequencies, but dogs are especially good at recognizing those high-pitched noises. And then the last thing is, a lot of times if you're trying to listen to something, you would cup your ear. You know how you do this, where you take you put your hand around your ear and you're like, what did you say? I can't hear you. And, I always feel like a lot of times older people do that because they can't, like, what did you say? And it's like, wait, does that actually work in helping you hear? And the cool part is it does, okay? And the reason why is when you put your hand around your ear, guys, you're trapping in more sound waves. You're like funneling those sound waves into your ear. So in this picture, it's almost like a funnel. But with your hand, it's like you're kind of making a funnel. You're funneling sound waves, more sound waves into your ear. And when you're doing that, you're then picking up on more sound, and you're picking up on a louder sound too. So it's just like you're collecting more sound waves that way. It's kind of cool to think about it. So I always like leaving you guys with something to kind of think about. It's always good, science shouldn't just stop at, oh, I learned something. It should always be you're asking questions. That's the most important thing. So think about this question, and it does have an answer. So if you want to send me an email and say, hey, but is this the right answer? I'd be happy to discuss it with you. But think about this. Think about fireworks, okay? 4th of July fireworks. Do we see them flash first, or do we hear them first? Which one happens first? Do you hear the boom of a firework first, or do you see it flash first? And why does that happen? So it actually has to do with, is the speed of light faster than the speed of sound? Why or why not? Kind of justifying that. So I'm not gonna get too far into this because I want you guys to really think about this. And it's a cool question. So if you feel like you have an answer, go ahead and shoot it at me, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you because I think it's a cool topic. So think about fireworks. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead to our experiments. I have actually 2 experiments for you guys today. Both are pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and we are gonna go ahead and do some experiments here. So the first one is what I call Screaming Susie, okay? And you'll see why. I'm gonna unplug here. So it's called Screaming Susie because, so basically what I have here, guys, is this. So I have a balloon, and for our purposes, we're gonna name her Susie the balloon. Okay, so here's Susie. She's just chilling. She's just a regular old balloon, and you guys can see it here, it's just a balloon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put, this is called a hex nut, okay? And maybe you've worked with a hex nut before, you guys can see it here. This is called a hex nut. It's just like, it's something you use for, for building stuff or whatever. Basically what I'm gonna do is I put the hex nut inside of Susie, our balloon. So, okay, so now hex nut is inside of Susie, and I'm gonna blow up the balloon. Now, please, guys, if you're gonna do this at home, make sure you have adult supervision. The reason is because there's a hex nut in here. I would hate for someone, you really have to be careful with when you're blowing it up, and you don't want to swallow anything. So really, if you're doing this, make sure you have a parent help you with it. But I'm gonna blow up this balloon very carefully. So now my balloon is blown up, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of shake it around, and let's see what we hear. You guys hear that? Sounds like someone's like screaming. And I might go a little bit slower, so here's what we hear. Can you guys hear that, where it's like making like a screaming noise? And it happens, sometimes it's bouncing around, but for the most part, guys, it's making this screaming sound. I'm trying to make sure you guys can really, it's kind of hard to back in here, but. There we go. So hopefully you guys can hear that. So what's super cool about that is it's actually all about sound and vibrations. So what's happening, guys, is that inside the balloon, the hex nut, guys, is rubbing against the side of the balloon. And what that's doing is it's producing a vibration. And that vibration is vibrating the air molecules. It's producing sound, guys. Remember, sound is a vibration of molecules. So when this hex nut is vibrating against the side of the balloon, guys, we're producing sound. And the cool part is, if you saw, when I was moving it around faster, it had a higher pitch sound. And the reason is, as I'm moving it faster, I'm getting more vibrations. More vibrations, which means more sound waves. And remember, if you think about our sound waves, I have more of them, that means a higher frequency. So it's higher pitched because I was moving it faster. And same when I was moving it slower, guys, it's going to be lower pitched sound because we have fewer vibrations. So in here, I'm going to play one more time. It kind of sounds like a little scream. So it's really fun to do. It's definitely better, I think, when it's live to hear it, but I hope you guys heard a little bit of it and what's going on. It's just that, like, that vibration. So that one is really fun. And then the last experiment I have, this one has to do with seeing sound in action. Okay, so what I have here is I have a bowl that I ended up covering. Let me just see it. This is a bowl I ended up covering in saran wrap. Okay, it's just a metal bowl, plain old metal bowl, and I put a rubber band and I put some saran wrap on it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I have some Jimmy's little sprinkles, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on top of my saran wrap. Okay, just, we don't need a ton. Just a few here, and you'll see them. They're kind of colorful. So here they are. Okay, and you guys can see that? Good. Perfect. So you guys can see the sprinkles on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I have just a pot here. And I'm going to take my pot, I'm going to put it really, really, really close to this, to the sprinkles on top of the saran wrap. It's really close. It's not touching, but it's close. And let's see what happens. I want you to watch the sprinkles as I bang the pan.
That really is so disturbing.
So do you guys see them kind of jumping around? I know it's kind of, it's definitely, they're small, so, but they are jumping, okay? They're jumping, it's really cool. So let me see, I think that's more time. They're jumping. So the reason that that's happening is that when I hit the pan, guys, it's producing a vibration. Now that vibration, it travels to the air molecules, and those air molecules are vibrating, and then those vibrating air molecules are gonna hit the saran wrap in this bowl. And it's going to cause them to vibrate a little bit too. And that's why our sprinkles were jumping. It's all because of this transfer of vibrations. And especially you can see it with those little sprinkles. Let me do it one more time just so you guys can see it here. There we go. There's my sprinkles. And let me show you. Oh, maybe, let me go this way. I'll do it this way. Let's see. Guys, I'm not touching that bowl. That's all air particles are vibrating because I'm hitting the bowl. I'm hitting the pan, actually. I'm sorry. I'm hitting my pan. It's causing the air molecules to vibrate, which is then causing my bowl to vibrate. It's this transfer of vibrations. I wasn't hitting the bowl with the sprinkles. I was hitting a pan with that causes transfer vibration. It's kind of cool to think about. So that's really all I have for you guys. Any questions about sound? Anything that you're wondering about?
No.
Do you have any questions about any of the experiments, anything?
What's the speed of sound? Because I don't think you mentioned what the speed of sound.
So really the speed of sound can change. That's a really good question. The speed of sound will change depending on what kind of medium we're going through. The speed of sound when it's going through just air is 343 meters per second. Okay, it's pretty fast. But if you're going through water, it's going to be faster because obviously we know that sound travels faster through solid mediums. So it's going to travel faster. Any other questions?
Do you have any questions for her?
No.
No? All right. Time for one more question. If anyone wants to ask anything about sound, there's something in your house you're wondering about sound, or maybe you see something with sound, anything?
So about the firework question.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. But I can't hear you. Is your sound on?
So
There you are.
once you see them first, and then you hear them. That's the same reason why you see lightning before thunder.
Well, you can't see thunder.
Can't see thunder. You're right. But when like
lightning before you hear it.
yes, exactly. Yes, no, I get what you're saying. And the reason is because the speed of light is actually faster than the speed of sound. So you're going to see a firework. Who was asking about the firework question? I'm not sure what your name was, but you're going to see the light before you hear it. So you actually see a firework before you hear it. It's a little bit delayed. It's all these different speeds that we're working with, and speed of sound is going to be faster than the speed of light. Okay? I'm sorry. I messed it up. The speed of light is faster than the speed of sound. That's what I meant. Speed of light is faster than the speed of sound.
Wait, how close can a human get to running to the speed of sound?
We are very, very, very far from running to the speed of sound. The speed of sound is 343 meters per second. So I'm trying to think about how fast, that's in a second. So we can maybe,
I know the fastest person is Usain Bolt.
And honestly, he can maybe run, I'm trying to think of how many meters he can run in 1 second. 1 second is a really short amount of time. So maybe let's say he runs at most 10 meters. The speed of sound is 343 meters per second. And maybe he can run 10 meters a second. So maybe a little bit faster, but we're nowhere close getting to the speed of sound. It's too fast. Good question. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining on. I'm sorry about the technical difficulty we had. This is what power outages do, right? It's Elmhurst, right? Running out of power. But anyway, guys, really great work. I'm glad you guys asked some great questions. And if you have any other questions about sound, email me. I would be happy to answer them. Or to help you guys if you want to do an experiment or something with sound. I'd love it. Okay? So that's all I have.
Yeah, my computer is still working though.
Oh, good, good. I know some people are out of power, so I'm glad that you're up and running. All right? So I'll see you guys then next week. Next week is going to be our last meeting. So really think about some really good questions and send them to me, okay? I really want to hear what you guys have to say. So please think of some really creative questions, and next week's going to be our last meeting, okay? I'll see you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.